Hey everyone, Egman here with two guests. We've got Robert Rietze and Alex Wilking. Both of them placed top 16 in PPG Atlanta this last weekend.
Hello.
Hello. That's Alex, and then there's Robert. They are totally here. They both did very well, and I want to do a deck list. Originally, I reached out to Alex because he's been on this channel before, and he's like, "Hey, I've got a friend named Robert who got top 16." So, contrasting his top 8 finish, so just to make his look a little bit better, right? Is that the only reason you asked him on this show?
Completely and 100% totally accurate.
Okay, I would not imagine you invite him if he did better than you. So.
No, of course not.
Of course not. So
I wouldn't even give Robert a ride home if he had done better than me.
Oh yeah. So okay, well let's jump into Robert's deck list real quick. So he ran Vegeta Baby, not to confuse with Baby Vegeta, and I'd say that probably of all the decks besides Broly Swap, this deck probably got the most buff from the power booster. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd say it got even more than I would say it's got even more help because you already had Victory Strike and you already had cards that existed, whereas Baby 3, I tried to make it higher, but it didn't work.
Yeah, I'd say I've been experimenting a bit, and having it any more than 3 just is pretty bricky, especially since you really want your energy open for your Revenge Death Balls. You don't really have like the energy to do the 10k combos.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird because every time I think I got the numbers right, someone shows me another card. Like since now that I'm like the baby player, everyone I've got these random people adding me on Facebook, and they're like, "Have you considered X and Y and Z?" And it's like, no, I have not. That is really cool, but now I'm running out of room. It's like 7 cards, and they all fit in the deck.
Yeah, so how final was this deck list before going into, like, when did you have this deck list finished? Was it like a couple days before the event, or was it like the day before that you finalized it? Or...
So I was on the Broly Swap deck.
Okay.
From all the way up until some point in time when on Friday I was just like, I don't know, I don't enjoy, like we were talking on the car ride, and wasn't enjoying anything about the Broly Swap. Like the more we talked about it, it seemed like a bad deck for my playstyle.
Sure.
And so next thing we knew, as we talked, I was just like, I guess I'll just run. I missed back to Baby, so I had to borrow his parasitic menaces actually, because I didn't have, and I had to trade Rory for his. The
other guy in our group.
Okay.
So I'd say it was. Not at all finalized based off of that.
Okay.
And so as a result, you can kind of see there was some mistakes in the build because I didn't know. I was kind of on the, before this had, these new cards that came out, this was my first time playing with Parasitic.
Okay.
And playing with the 6-drop.
Yeah.
So I hadn't had any tournaments with it. We played, I think, 5 matches between the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Or 5 games, not matches. Just 5 times we played. I think I played Alex twice against his swap deck, and then I played like a few other things for fun. But that was it. So then we went into the event, and I really didn't understand how powerful the menace was until I got to do it to people on turn 2.
Yeah, yeah. And so, what made you choose this deck? I guess was it just the play style? Like, if someone's interested in this deck, what would you say the play style is?
So it's one of the few decks that you get to control the tempo of the game. Because I feel like, with the exception of decks like Janimba, for the most part, we're in this weird, awkward, like gotcha kind of environment where suddenly out of nowhere you can lose, which I did to several of my opponents. But when they were like at 4 life and I killed them with 1 card, and that felt great.
Yeah.
It just was such a powerful opportunity to deal with cards like Path, because I didn't have to worry about the annoyance of just being like, oh, okay, they got out Victory Strike, I lose.
Sure.
And I think at least 2 rounds I played against different builds of Victory Strike, where they successfully got out Victory Strike, and I beat them.
Yeah.
And I only had 2 mana open, and it felt really good to, if you double Death Ball, that kind of deals with the deck, which is nice.
Sure, and even without, like, I'd say Red's probably has the most tools, because not even Death Ball, but After Image Technique is like the only free negate that can actually do something against Victory Strike as well.
Yeah, no, that was a huge, that's what we were talking about a lot while we were on the car ride, because I didn't like the playstyle of the deck, I was kind of just torn between, like, what should I do? What's the right answer? What to play? And then they kept talking about how they wanted to play their Brawly decks. And everything else I wanted to play, like, I have a really cool list I'm trying to work on for Nationals. So
sure.
I won't tell much. But I want to get this Cell list to get, like, perfected so I can just bring regular Cell. But,
yeah, I've been loving green stuff lately. I love hand control, so I've been tinkering with that so much in the last couple of weeks.
Can I piggyback off that baby comment a little bit real quick?
Sure.
I really feel like because of Parasitic and Apocal Baby, it allows you to, like he said, control the tempo of the game, but it also allows you to kind of just step on the gas whenever you feel like it.
Sure, and kind of have some late game options, which I think the deck was really missing beforehand, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can drag it to the late game, or on turn 3 you can swing it. You can swing with your Apocal and do a lot of pressure, and then slap a 1-drop down, and then go into the whole chain again.
Sure.
If you really want to add excessive pressure, you do lose your monkey off that. But I mean, if you're trying to, if you hit someone from 5 to 2 on possibly turn 3, it might be worth going in.
Sure.
For that kill shot. So, just all across the board, Baby has just, like, from turn 2 to turn 6, it has just a lot of really good options.
I think it's probably one of the more flexible decks right now, too. It has a lot of different... It can go control style, it can go aggressive style, and it has a lot of options for blowing up cards on the field, too, which I think is really good.
Yeah, you kind of forget about it when you're playing the deck, because you kind of just get into a mode of, like, all right, I just have all these kill cards. And you're almost overwhelmed with how many you have.
Sure.
I mean, 1 Death Ball and an After Image, you can kill most things going into turn 4 for only 2 mana. I mean, it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And not only do you kill them, but they usually try to invest in those cards too, right? Or there's also the player that's, knows Revenge Death Ball is a thing and plays around it, and by doing so, they just play really awkwardly and not optimal.
Yeah, that was a huge component throughout the weekend, was just people doing what I'd call weird things, where I was like, why are we... Oh, you're afraid I have Death Ball. Well, I don't. Like, you didn't need to... Yeah. Like, you thought I had it, but I would have killed your other drop. I wasn't saving it. I wasn't trying to be cute. I just don't have it.
I mean, it also runs the whole thing of, like, where people didn't realize you could, like, swing lead, drop a Death Ball, summon Ginyu, and just take their big stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like...
I didn't think about that until you literally just said that. So that's a really good play.
I mean, I saw him do it in the Team Wars, and while I was completely eviscerating a Janemba, he was over here just schooling some new guy in Baby and just walking all over. And it was just... He's like, yeah, I stole his monkey on turn 3, and I'm just like, oh, that's so bad.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Yeah, and I feel like that for the mirror, it's kind of a hard, if you're not really familiar with how to play the Baby deck. I think that's the first mistake most new players do, is they throw Baby out on their turn 3. Because I know I did that. One of the guys, I have no idea what his name is, but he also got top 16 with Baby. I did it to him. And then you could see the excitement on his face, because that's all he did to me, was he dropped like an Overwhelm card to use up Baby's effect.
Yeah.
Ginyu used the leader's ability and stole my monkey, and I had no way of getting it back.
Yeah.
I learned pretty quickly, all right, for the Team Wars, you don't summon your monkey. This is not a monkey fight.
Sure.
You want to avoid doing that. And when I saw that he did it on his turn 2, when I was about to be my turn 3, and I already had out... I had enough resources where I was going to be able to drop like a 1-drop as well with the Ginyu, so I could kill it. I was in a great mood. Like, I knew I was probably going to win this match.
Yeah, it feels super good. And and then if just looking at your deck, so I'd say like Baby decks are over half the deck is kind of already built for you, just because of all the chains that you do.
Yeah.
So like obviously the baby chain takes up what, like 16 cards, and then having your Afterimage and Revenge Death Ball are pretty common. What about the chain attack Zeno chain? Do you think that's really necessary in this deck?
I feel like I was really afraid of Raleigh, and I only played Raleigh Victory Strike once. So the same reason why I used to run Baby was I was afraid of Rush, and then I would never play against the Rush decks. So, because I was if you look at it, I had 3 Chrono main and 2 Zeno main.
Yeah,
that was all for them.
Sure,
but I didn't have Millie Killzone or Killzone minus Killzone, however the hell it's
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
I didn't have that, so even if I got those cards, like I couldn't Zeno most opponents because they'd keep up the Bloodlust.
So
I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't know. I'd say like Victory. It just being beat by Victory Strike feels bad, right? And I think I'm someone who's also susceptible. Like, man, I really like. I'm okay with losing, but I really don't want to lose to that, right? And so,
being beaten by Victory Strike wouldn't be that bad if it was like an alternate win condition, like how Janemba mills.
Sure.
But when it's your primary focus of your deck, and you literally just sit there and do nothing for 4 turns, and then you just drop it, then that's where it's like, oh, fun and interactive metagame, guys. Like, that's where it's the problem.
Sure, and like Height of Mastery is still like super, not nice to play against too, right?
You don't need Victory Strike, but man, like, I would have liked to have it in certain scenarios because the unnegatableness, like the fact that it's unnegatable, is the point.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean the Janemba still obviously won the event, but when I took great joy in seeing the Brawley decks beat the Janembas that I was witnessing, when they were just like, do nothing, like he said, besides drawing a card each turn from their leader ability, and then dropping, the Victory Strike, and then having the bad ring to deal with Mafuba.
Yeah.
I mean, deck, it really shut it down. So I was shocked to see how well, one person got to do really well with it, basically, and you see the other 7 didn't make it, and so kind of shows just how powerful the deck can be for that.
Yeah.
But then with all the baby that was there, it kind of shows you how weak it can be. Because I know one of my opponents did a turn, I believe he did turn 3. If he's on here, he reads this, he can respond. But I'm pretty sure he did turn 3, and I was first, luckily. But he did turn 3 Victory Strike Dragon Ball versus me.
Oh,
so that hurt, as you'd imagine.
Yeah.
But I didn't do anything by turn 3 besides drop a 1-drop and attack. So I had both Death Balls open, and I was able to stop his attack, and he devoted all of his resources to that attack. And I had it was turn 4. I'm sorry, it was turn 4.
Yeah.
But
okay.
still,
I was about to say, like, man, that's what magic did he do to get that?
He did turn 4, and that's where it came up because we learned the. I didn't know as a player because he announced it, and I was like, I don't know if you're right about that. Like, you're being nice to help me, but I didn't understand that the evolution rules now is if you evolve, you keep negatives. I thought it was only.
That is true.
So I didn't know that, and so he was like, I'm only my Victory Strike is 20k less, and I was like, okay, we're gonna play like that. That's fine.
Sure, I guess. I'll believe you.
If he would have said it didn't, I probably would have been like, why would it? It's a different card.
Yeah.
But nope, the baby player learned his deck was better. So that was cool because a POC did work because I drew an extra card and 20 less K on a Victory Strike feels really good.
Yeah, it's a difference, all right.
Yeah, I will say like Atlanta was odd because I walked in assuming we were gonna see like a pretty split like 3 down the middle like Janemba, Baby, and Broly, and with like very little Shenron. And I was right about Shenron. I actually played 2 Shenrons in rounds, which was surprising, and the rest of my rounds were Brolys, but I just came in expecting a ton of Broly and a ton of Janemba and maybe a little bit of Baby. And walking in, there was almost no Janemba day 1.
Yeah.
And then it was just a ton of Broly and Baby. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was really interesting, especially like comparing to like the European Cup the week before. There was like 1 Baby player in the top 16 and a whole bunch of Broly and a whole bunch of Male, right? And and that just was really interesting to me as well because I don't know if was most of PPG. I know like Peter Catani played Baby, but did
They all decks. They were on different. They weren't on.
Andrew and Jonathan played Herudegarn
Okay.
with the new Demigur control.
Yeah.
Because I totally hijacked that deck for day 2. And then Peter Katani is playing Baby, but he didn't actually play his top 16 match. He actually scooped it out to Andrew because they're teammates. Rios was playing. I played Rios in rounds. He was playing quad.
Oh wait, he scooped it out.
Yeah, he just gave Andrew the win.
Oh,
so
I heard he didn't fill out his deck list properly.
Yeah, so he already was gonna have a game. So at that point, I don't think
George Machado said he got a match loss for that. I'm not sure if that's true.
Yeah. So however it works out, it's fine.
Whatever. Okay. Anyways, whatever.
So yeah, and Rios was playing triple Mira quad furthering Kai, the South whatever it was.
The better have negate.
Yeah, version. Other than that, I don't really. I think those are the only. Oh, and Marcel was playing Victory Strike Broly. So
yeah. Well, he's playing like the weird half and half. Like he can go either way.
I know. I know he lost to Dahan because Dahan milled his Victory Strikes.
Oh.
And I just thought it was weird that he wasn't playing like the Trunks overseeing time.
Yeah. That's something that I've been seeing a lot of play, and something I'm like, oh man, that just makes you like search half your deck. Thanks, mill player. I appreciate that.
Also, seeing Marcel play furthering, like he furthering somebody with I think it was Broly or something from 3 to 1, and then had to swing again, and then had to combo another furthering, and I'm like, that's why we play the Kai, kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, Marcel always mentions how he loves furthering destruction, so.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see kind of this same the celebrations are coming up. What do we have, 2 weeks?
Yep. We got they're next month. Like I think 2 of them are before set 6, and then the rest of them are after set 6.
No, actually, only Orlando is.
Oh, really?
Orlando's the 9th. Yeah, I just had the ARG judge. He was John Patterson. He was saying like Orlando's the 9th and 10th, and like nothing really changes because they banned the Broly pack cards.
Okay.
And then the next weekend is when
it's the whole start the races, right?
Yeah, everybody's going to be shoot-gushing their opponent.
Yeah.
And stuff.
I would expect to see even more of Baby, Demigra, and the Path represented even more at this event, because I feel like the cost was still restrictive for this event.
Sure.
Like some people had them, but they were $45 going into the event. And I think they're down to 30 or 25, something like that.
Yeah, they're pretty affordable right now. I think Baby stuff went up and Path to whatever went down, but
not by much.
Not by much, no.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit more affordable, and the state of Florida has had a ton of these events. Like I know you said you're having the first one.
Yeah.
And in Tampa, we've
Kansas, going to be at 100% of the Kansas events. Woo!
Yeah. And I think there's literally been like 40 or 50 drafts that I know of in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I want to do a power booster draft, it's not hard to get people together to do it.
Sure.
And I mean, I had pulled all of my Path Gokus. I didn't have to buy any. So
same.
And that's a difference for when you want to play the deck, because it didn't really cost me anything.
Sure.
You open 6 packs, you might make your money back just with that, and then your other stuff. I couldn't tell you how many useless foils I have from that set now.
I'm not even gonna. Wow, rude. I love a lot of those foils. I'm not even gonna lie though. From playing the Broly mirror match for most of the day, I think I played 7 or 6 Broly mirror matches, all of different variations of Broly. So
I'd say I'm gonna spoilers. I'm probably gonna make one of my joke videos. Is Broly the new Super Saiyan 3 kind of thing? But I think he's pretty solid in the sense he just supports a lot of archetypes.
Yeah, well, it's just all around. He's a fantastic leader and things like that. But it's really when you look at the so there's a Goku, there's a Quad Strike Goku. When you look at the parallels between him and Broly, you're like, oh, he does the same thing as Broly on the front. But then when you flip to the backside, he's really only an extra 5K, and sometimes he's not negatable.
Yeah, I've been using that leader a lot. So yeah.
But in my match against Anthony Hernandez, being able to tap his 20K blocker ape and then just run it, being able to just freely run in against him, or I played an Ultra Instinct Broly round 1, being able to tap their 1-drop Gokus to run into them so they can't evolve into Ultra Instinct quicker. It causes them a lot of problems.
Yeah, and just to be able to Broly probably has one too many things. I'd feel and that's why he's so good. But being able just to block tap blockers in general, there aren't like a super amount of blocker barriers right now going around, and I think that's just really powerful.
Well, I would also argue, like, I'll also say it to you this way, like, I time magicked a King Vegeta ape, just so it couldn't untap by playing a Vegeta, and then I played the feature of Vegeta to blow it up. So even if there is barrier blockers, in yellow you can run answers, and then it doesn't even really afflict your colors, affect your colors, excuse me, because it restands energy. But I think the problem is that Broly he can just tap anything. Now that effect would be too weak, but being able to tap anything and then restand anything, he should have been restricted to like can tap anything and then can restand anything with 4 or higher or 4 or lower.
4 or lower, or even like the same thing with what he can tap, right? Like tap something like 3 or less, or something.
Like clearly, he wants to tap blockers because they're they're too weak for him because he's Broly.
I'm surprised
he intimidates them.
Run for this event. I would have thought we would have saw more just generic Storm type builds. Like I know there was still a fair amount of people doing it. Because of that, like with Overwhelm, you can just win the game so easily with Broly. It's almost disappointing.
Just the fact that his effect pretty much gives Mirror double strike is absurd, or even like triple strike at times, right? If you have a Champa in hand.
Oh yeah. I won a game. Off of being able to side in my 2 furtherings and just double it onto 1 Mirror. Like this is fair.
This is fair and balanced. 3 damage, or 3 energy for 4 uncombable amount of damage. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, unless your opponent has an after image and 2 revenge death balls, or maybe 1, it's really hard to stop Mira. And
the only thing I can think about is time magic, and that only stops like 1 attack, right?
It also prevents him from restanding. So like that's how you stop Mirror. You time magic, but then pretty much what I've learned from those Broly matches is who's got the most energy, and then you go play a time magic, and then your opponent goes battering. You battering, they're battering, they battering, you're battering, you try to battering, they're battering, and that's kind of what the meta, the Yellow Mirror match has devolved into. Just being
who has 4 batterings in hand.
Exactly, but The event was fun overall, though. I'm not really any complaints except for how annoying, like if Battering or like Shugesh wasn't there, like these decks would be more manageable. Where,
I think I just released a video where I think Shugesh should probably be on its way out, and I think Battering has some arguments for it. I haven't had enough experience from personally to say either way, but I do see where it feels unfair.
Well, I would argue that 2 Shugesh is fine because what I've learned when I played Daniel Brown top 16. I only beat him because I won the die roll. Like he knew it, I knew it. I won the die roll. I pretty much won the match. It was a huge hill to climb for him. But what I noticed is that like the 2 games that I got to go first, I had to see Cronoa because. I could tap all his energy all day and negate all of his negates all day and out combo him. But at the end of the day, if I didn't Cronoa, he could have Shugesh explosive to me. So in a way, Shugesh is also a deterrent of these like big Victory Strike plays. Because if you go all in on Victory Strike and then they have Shugesh, you lose the game. So it can, like, I think if Shugesh was restricted to 2 or 1, maybe, like, I could still see him being played, but then you probably still have people complaining. But
my big argument, and we'll switch back to decks, but it limits card design in both a way of, one, they have to limit what cards they make in the future because any Saiyan that's 3 cost or less, they have to worry about, this can be played for free, right? And then also, ever since Cronoa has been out, it has been pretty much in everybody's side deck, our main deck, of at least 2 copies, and like over 90% of the decks between both events was running Cronoa, and something that having a card that's just like sits in your deck and just restricts your deck building because you have to run this card, I don't think it's healthy for the game.
I think that they should have made Cronoa not be able to draw 1, because then it would have been a completely different scenario with, like, okay, so we're going to dedicate space to this card that's just a 1-drop that turns Shugesh off. Then it would have been fine. But now, because it can draw, it can just be splashed and be fine. So,
anyways. Shugesh aside, we've got before I move over to Alex's deck, I do want to talk about a couple cool things. So one, you have a Fru Shrouded in Mystery in the main. How often did you say you were able to get to turn 6 and play it?
A fair amount. That was one of the steel cards. Like, I ran that in Frieza, and I would say, especially in the mirror is super grindy back and forth unless someone commits, and then you just kill them because they went a little too deep trying to kill you.
Yeah.
So as a result, you know they have death balls, they have negates. If they haven't used them, like, you can just kind of guess how many they have in their hand.
Yeah.
And it feels really good to be like,
let's
6 mana.
Get rid of them.
Yeah, and I did that. One of my opponents, I can't remember which round it was, but I posted it because I felt a little bit guilty because one of our games in our match, he was just destroying me, and he tapped all of his resources, and he went down to 4 life, and there was no way I could win. He had an Apoc in play, and I was just in trouble. And all I had in my hand was a Frieza, and I was like, let's just jam it out there. And so, with his Apoc in play, it was obviously only a 20k.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yep, let's just go for it. And I looked at his hand, and all he had after image to stop the stealing the win.
Yeah. And so you just took it out of his hand, and you...
Yeah, I just took it out of his hand, blew up the board, and did all 4 damage. And then game 2, it went a little bit more grindy, and I food him. So I felt like, and it was pretty much a similar situation where he had his deck was more consistent because I did have these cards like Zeno, and Zeno main feels really bad in the current meta. Yeah. Because if you go into the mirror, drawing a dead card doesn't feel right, and you can't charge it due to Frieza. Yeah. So, but I would say it's almost good enough to be a 2 of main to bring Fu up. Like, I can't believe it's still a 50-cent card.
Sure.
But, it feels like a sleeper every time.
Yeah, you always feel really confident, and somebody just drops it, and you're like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like, of course he has Fu, of course. But would you say that you also had 3 on the side? Would you say that you ever sided in all 4, or?
Yeah, so I'm still going to have 4 for the Janemba.
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is always to bring them down to 2.
Yeah.
I tried to put a lot of pressure on Daehan game 2,
and
I was able to put a fair amount of pressure. But what we were just talking about, you can either have one of the 2 strategies, either the Chain Zeno or the 6-drop.
Yeah.
Because I had both still, like I sided both, and I had like 2 cards less than him, and I was in a really good, like, it felt like a good position to be in. Except my hand was like 3 copies of Chain Attack, 2 copies of Zeno, and then 2 copies of Scientist Fu, and maybe 1 other playable. So I was forced on turn 4 to give him a fresh hand, and he had made the joke, and who knows if it was right or not, that he had only 5Ks in his hand. So it was he was very
beneficial
happy
to him. Yeah, sure.
And I had felt like I had Frieza. That was my only playable card besides Chain in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't gain out another target. That was the part that was making me sad.
Sure.
Because if I had Fearless Pan and other stuff, I feel like I could have gotten to that pressure to play the 6-drop, and we could have went to game 3. He still probably would have won. That matchup is pretty rough, and I don't know how to beat it yet.
Sure. But yeah, it must feel good that the only person like you lost to in Top Cut was the guy who won the whole thing, right? So.
Nope, not at all. It's weird because you're not the first person to mention that. I'm like, nope, not make better. Like, it's like, oh, you lost, but you lost to somebody who was very good. Nope, I still lost. Like, I'm not trying to lose this game. I don't want to be Yamcha.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Don't have to bring Yamcha into this. All right. The last card that I could think in your side, you had 2 of the Saiyan Onslaught Kefla. Did that ever come up, or was that ever a thing?
Yeah. Droids is still a thing, and I think I played them 0-1 because round 1 was against Janemba.
Okay.
So I lost, and I played against Droids, and his deck was pretty cool. And I brought him in because I figured he'd have a lot of Deadly Defenders, a lot of the blockers, and kind of the grind cards. And then I also brought him in during the mirror.
Okay.
That was always the right call, but it's just such a hard card to deal with if you're in a grindy match. And if you haven't awakened yet, which is pretty hard by turn 5, it feels good. I feel like there's got to be a better 5-drop, but I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Frieza.
Or what about any thought in Foreseeing Hit? That's one of my favorite cards in red decks.
I was the only one, I think, out of all the lists that wasn't running Hit.
Yeah.
And I felt really good not running Hit in all the mirror matches. They said that they loved playing Hit to help deal with the Brawly decks.
Yeah, because it just knocks their combos out of their hand, or their like their win cards.
And then you can also see the hand of the Janemba player, so that way you can get an idea of what plays you need to make.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, he's too slow. Like my turn 4, like I guess if I cheated him like a turn 5 play, he'd be better. But like I don't want to tap all my energy just to see if I'm screwed, because most of the cards in the current environment can kill that so easy. Like it used to be that card was amazing. You know, it was 20k, it had double strike, but with power creep, you know, we've got 2-drops that can do what he can do.
Sure.
So I don't like it, but it's all about play style.
Yeah.
If I was going to run Chain Zeno main still, I'd probably run Deborah, so that way I could, on occasion, just steal random cards and then get lucky and just keep them gone for the whole game.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point too, because since you are running the chain, so well. Yeah, I think that's it for this deck. It seems very cool. What was your last ranking in before Top Cut?
I got 13th.
Okay, 13th with a record of
whatever X and 2 is.
6-2.
6-2. Okay, and you lost to a Mil Janemba, and then also
I lost to the Mirror, and then and I lost hard to the Mirror.
Okay.
He played very well, whatever he was. His name was, I can't recall.
Oh, the guy who was playing Bola, right?
Yeah, he was playing Bola. Really nice guy. Like I said, he took some time to show me afterwards why he beat me so easily.
Yeah.
I did misplay during him, which was pretty embarrassing. But besides that, but then Janemba round 1, and I had told you already, I'd only played 5 matches with the new cards.
Sure.
So going into your worst matchup with pretty limited
new cards,
knowledge,
yeah.
Well, he also played those 5 matches against GT Broly and Shenron Boo, so he didn't even really get practice. He kind of just was sitting on the defense the whole time, and then he would just defense through. So he really had almost no practice with the new cards, realistically.
Yeah, I had not casted I was actually discussing with him, because we never got to play Big Ape at all. Like, I had never casted him during testing.
Tupaco baby.
So since I had never played him, I was considering cutting him down to 2 or 1. I'm like, this card is crap. But then I was sleepy and I just went to bed.
Uh-huh.
And it worked out that I didn't, because once I actually got to play regular decks that weren't super fast, I found out that it's easily one of the best SRs that I've ever played.
He's real good sometimes.
Yeah. And he's really, I mean, I cast him 1 time for 6, and it didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's still a triple striker who draws a card.
Yeah, I've like hard evolved him for 4. It still feels really good. Like.
Yeah, he can go on top of a 1-drop baby.
Yep.
That feels pretty good.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Let's move to Alex's deck, which is very unique in his own words. With that inflection.
While you do that, I'm gonna head out. It's my time.
No worries. Thank you so much for stopping by, Robert.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no problem. See you at the next event.
Yep.
See you, Robert. Okay.
All right. Can we make fun of his deck yet, or?
Yeah, we can make fun of his deck.
Okay. Yeah, who runs?
Anyway.
No. All right, so you've got probably one of a more standard, but I'd say a really good like starting point, especially so you're not running Victory Strike, but you are running like the Path of Greatness to Height of Mastery Goku chain. What would you say that your deck is compared to other of similar nature?
Well, let me just preface and recover this. Victory. I don't play Victory Strike because I just don't have it.
Okay.
I didn't borrow it from somebody before I left. I was really kind of thinking about playing Hand Destruction.
Sure.
And then the guy I was trying to borrow Victory Strike from let somebody else borrow it beforehand. Okay. So, but this deck felt really powerful without Victory Strike. Yeah. So it just felt like the right call.
I think people just underestimate how good Height of Mastery is. Like, it is really good, especially like if you time it right on life where they can't awaken and untap to play negate. That just feels so good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Robert was asking me. He's like, how do you beat Janemba? And I was like, well, I beat Janemba the same way I beat Janemba at a city. I just killed him from 6.
Yeah.
And kind of just hope they can't out-combo me on the second or third swing and just kind of win that way. But this, I will say, like, after playing this list all day, I see a lot of room for improvement for the deck. Now, I think Marcel was sneaking around with 1 Shigesh in his deck. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Like, 1 Shigesh is fine. I saw almost no Jocos all day. Like, I saw maybe across the course of 8 rounds, I saw maybe 7 Jocos. And, like, this is fantastic. I'm like, awesome. I'm not, super combos don't exist in my matches. So,
did you have any thought on running the yellow Goku, like the Statue of Liberty one?
Yeah. If I had remembered that card existed and I had it, I would have definitely played it.
Because Jocko's still, like, even though you didn't see it, there's still some merit in the sense like he's always a 10k combo. So, but on the other hand, you're Broly, so you're probably always at like 4 life.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's, I mean, when I played Anthony Hernandez, he was playing 4 Shigeshes, and the round 3 match that I didn't Chronoa him until turn 2, I was at like 3 life at 1 energy. Like he beat the crap out of me in that game. But I think like you could probably drop Path to 3 and then like keep Height at 4 maybe, because you need Height's a little harder to search than Path to Greatness is, but like with 4 successors, like I mean, there was one game I had 3 successors turn 1, and I was like, oh cool, just go search my whole chain. Like,
yeah, done. Son Goku Path to Greatness is probably like the most searchable card in the entire game right now. I would contest.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, U7 representative even. I didn't realize that at first. U7 representative searches it too. So
it has 3 search targets right now. It has Successor Folk, Planet Vegeta, and Universe 7 representative. Like, it's crazy.
Yep. And I think, I would say, like, if you wanted to make this deck a little bit more hybridy, like, you wanted to go more, like, mirror, stuff like that, you could cut some of the Height of Masteries down, and then, like, because Path, I think, for 2 energy, when you swap him up, is still really good.
Yep.
It still taps something, it still draws a card, it's still 19k, and it puts it in your opponent's mind that they have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Or Height's coming down, if you got it. So.
That is 100% what's in my mind whenever I see one playing. Like, that needs to go, like, right now.
One of the Broly matches I lost to, the guy didn't make top 16. He beat me round 4, and then I think he lost his next, like, 2 games straight. So that really sucked at my tiebreakers. But he was playing, like, Fledgling Talon Pans. It's like, I feel like it's really unnecessary. I feel like if you really play the game, play it smart, you can get Sparking 7 pretty consistently.
Sure. But, I saw like some people were running like the 2-drop Gine that would get 3 in the drop, or 2 drop whenever you attack or swing with it or whatever.
It's when you attack our combo.
Okay,
you can mill up to 3. Yeah.
And she's also really Goku's lineage, so you can swap into it from a 1-drop. And
oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
Something else that people have been starting to run is the Prodigal Dynasty Son Goten. And that's just protection for your Path to Greatness, right?
Oh yeah, that thing's amazing.
Yeah,
people swing up and then they combo to like 30,000. And they're like, this is perfect. He's gonna waste so many cards. One
against a deck that also has hand advantage at most times. That's cool.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
As you can see, if people look at Daniel Brown's list, he had a lot of space to do a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But. Man, I've never felt so out-resourced, but again, it's a die roll meta at the end of the day.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's a great card, and once again, it's searchable by like 3 things. No, it's not Universe 7, is it?
Which one?
The Goten?
No, I think it's just Goku's lineage.
Yeah, I think it is, but you can still Successor.
You can grab it off a Successor.
You can even swap to it on turn 2 if you want. Like, I don't know why, but you can.
Yeah.
That makes it good, I guess.
A couple things I would change. I would maybe up I would probably drop a Bardock and up one of either the 1-drop Gohan, the Son Gohan.
Yeah, adopted father, Grandpa Gohan,
or the 2-drop Barrier, because you're never short of a Bardock. I had so many Bardocks, it was ridiculous. The Gohan I put in because I was like, baby's a deck, and then I didn't play one until top 8. So, and Sun Gohan, the one drop allows you to go a lot slower.
Yeah.
In the matchup. So, but I would also put in the. I told my teammate for 3v3s to put in the 3-drop Gohan.
Yeah.
Because if you have the 2-drop Dynasty Goku, you can swap into it and blow up like an Apocalypse or something.
Yeah.
If that, or if
he's pretty good, especially if you're running just like a single Shugesh. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, the swap mechanic is still really strong. So, so this deck was really kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like it's swap is a mechanic that takes advantage of energy, and then you also have a leader that takes advantage of energy. Like. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily beat people down with this deck without having to use High to Mastery.
Yep, I agree, and that's why the swap decks show up. Like, and I'd say this is not super half and half, but having the mirror in the deck really gives it like an escape option in case something goes wrong.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and then what about the Vegeta striving to be the best? I see some people citing it, but not as many main it.
Oh my god! If you're playing yellow and you got a couple slots, just put it in the deck. It's so versatile.
Yeah.
You don't think it comes up that much, but like, it's kind of what the philosophy is. Like that I tell people, like if it's in your color, you could probably afford to run 2 copies of it if it's kind of medium range synergy.
Yeah.
Like I sided Crusher Balls in for the mirror matches, so if you Crusher Ball their path.
And then you just play Vegeta.
And then you just play the Vegeta and pop it. You can still go to High to Mastery that same turn, too. So
yeah,
it just allows you a lot of versatility.
Sure.
I was telling Robert to play, like, Strategies of Universe 7 to, like, give his really monkey barrier. And then I was like, yeah, I'm watching. I say that, and then someone's going to slap that Vegeta down and blow up your Apocalypse, baby.
Yeah, I immediately had that thought. I was making a baby deck earlier today, and I'm like, wait a minute. Barrier is almost worse sometimes. But
there's a reason the card jumps $5 over the course of like a day. Like it's a really good card. And it's only going to get better. As the game progresses.
Yep, I 100% agree. I think it's really powerful. And once again, if you did decide to put a Shugesh, some people swing with barrier because they're like, oh, it can't be blown up by whatever explosive Goku because there's barrier, and then you just play Vegeta, and then you also plus an energy and a card. Like,
yeah, that's why I think it's so good. That's why I think one Shugesh is fine because like. If your opponent has a bunch of threats on you, it's kind of like a Revenge Death Ball or an After Image where they swing with one, and then you Shugesh in path, and then you can tap the other one as you out combo the first attack.
Yeah.
So it gives you or like you said, you can swing and pop a barrier like I don't know, Gogeta, I guess. Like if Gogeta got played on you, you could pop a Gogeta with the Vegeta, or you can just cheat your swap chain in a lot quicker. There's a lot of versatility. For a 1-of. And not enough that I would want to play multiples because, there's a ton of Granola running around.
Sure. Yeah, I think. We already talked about it. I don't want to get into it again. It's late. Let's see. So you're running 3 power overseeing time, obviously for the mill matchup.
Yep.
And once again, I said earlier, like if you have like your entire half your deck's in your drop area, you get to search half your deck for whatever card you need, and so that's really handy.
I didn't even think about it, but I was playing so I could filter back for Victory Strike, and I just was like, oh, well, I'll just keep it in because, grabbing whatever is still good.
Yeah, it's really, and if you're running 1 Shugesh, you're now running 2 Shugesh.
Exactly.
So that's like I remember when the card first came out, because I think Trunks Power Overseeing Times from set 3 also, but that
Yep.
Yeah, people would just abuse that. Like, oh, okay, then I get 2, and then I play Preface of Recovery, so I untap the 2 I played for Trunks Power Overseeing Time. That seems fair. Like, just nasty combos.
Yeah, I thought that card was going to see a lot more play than it did, but then 2 energy became expensive. And
sure. Yeah.
Now it's not so expensive.
But it's. I think the format slowed from a 2 to 3 game turn to a 3 to 4 game turn. So I think,
which I'm happy about. I like the game when the game is more mid rangey.
That's the game I prefer. I'm not a big fan of aggro. And then sometimes control is fun, but I can't think of running control for an all day event. You'll get too tired. I feel like and it's just exhausting.
Red Blue. I played Red Blue Soul Striker at an event, and it was a day.
Yeah, I have no doubt. So. I think that's about it. Everything else kind of makes sense. I guess the Dendays were for if you're worried about Shenron, Gogeta, right?
Shenron. I wasn't really. I played 1 Shenron that played an objection, and it just still didn't matter. just dead. So
yeah, and that's the big thing. Like, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh no," ringing the bells, like, "Oh, Shenron Gonjita's here to come and take the day." And it's like, you still gotta get to turn 5, bro. You can't.
Yeah, and then between 3 events, there was 0. Vegas had no Shenrons as well, right?
I think they had 2. One was Gogeta, and one was the really unique Vegito build.
Right when I saw like David Fujimura's Huragan deck, I looked at it and I was like, Vegas must have been really bad.
Yeah.
No offense to Vegas, but it just didn't look like that. I mean, if 4 Huragans made it in, that says something to me.
But yeah, I'd say, yeah, just because the deck that won on turn 2 is gone doesn't mean that it's going to immediately be a turn 5 metagame. I don't think that.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially with Janemba being able to be like the ultimate kind of control deck in the sense that it wins just by being around. It's like it pushes, like the leader pushes its own winning condition, which I think.
Yeah, it gets to invest its aggro, whereas decks would need aggro to kill you. It invests that aggro that it would play into defensive options, and then they just splash aggro for
giggles.
Bad players.
Yeah, I'm
gonna be honest with you.
I mean, didn't Justin Rios lose to aggro? I mean.
I actually didn't see the finals. I just think that like if you put yourself at 2 after, like, if they swing you from 4 and they double strike you and then drop a whole crapload into that combo, that's understandable. But if you willingly put yourself at 2, you're just asking for the further.
Sure. And I think it could be inexperience with the matchup for sure, just because you're like, oh man, I want to draw cards, but I don't want to draw cards on my deck. Oh, look at this other resource of cards. I'll just use those instead. I don't lose the game when this pile goes to 0, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I'm pretty sure Justin Rios is experienced enough to understand the Janemba map.
Yeah, I watched the last game. I think it could have gone either way pretty easily, and I think he might have psyched himself out a little bit. I think he could have gone for game, and he just kind of played it safe, and then the Janemba player was able to take advantage of that. So
yeah, that's what happens.
So. Anyways, I think that's about it for this. Do you have anything else before I finish this?
No, I'm sorry I have such a boring deck for you.
No, you're good. I mean, okay. 2 things I always say, like, inspiration comes from somewhere or from everywhere. So like, just because this deck can be perceived as boring doesn't mean that someone can't be like, oh, hey, look, they're running Vegeta striving to be best. I didn't really think of that card. Or even the Dynasty Sun Goten. I didn't see this card until like a week ago when people were playing it to go against the Super Saiyan Bardock thing to, right?
Yeah. The Power Charge Bardock.
Power Charge Bardock. Yep. To get rid of Path of Greatness. So I think that's a good thing. And even people have either good or bad things about net decking, but just even as like a starting point for a lot of players is really helpful. So.
Yeah, I mean, someone's gonna have fun playing this deck too. Someone's gonna I enjoy turning my 1-drops into 2-drops and just beating my opponent. That's just how it is.
Definitely. I mean, if someone sees like, oh, top 8 Broly deck, cool. We're gonna look at this deck, we're gonna use it, and then go from there. So I think it's really helpful in that point.
I will say, anybody who wants to play this deck though, Baby is really just not.
Oh, Baby is not what?
Baby's just not fun against this deck. Like Dylan, I played Dylan Ashcraft in top 8, and. Like, changed out of my hand away, and then game 2, even if I would have beat him game 2, because I swung at him when he had 4 life, super big misplay, couldn't see his sleeves were all... Yeah. Like, I thought he had 3 based on where his sleeves were, because once he, like, moved one over, I was like, I shouldn't have attacked, but I told...
Oh, no.
I told him game 3 he was going to pretty much have it, because he just goes, like, minus Killy Zone, chain Zeno, buy all of your resources...
Yeah.
And then he always swings at me with leader while at 4 life. And then he's just like, well, whenever you're ready to go for a big thing, I'll awaken and double death ball you. And I'm like, you're right. There's no point in really playing this game 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sad he didn't win the event though. So.
Yeah. And what was your standings before at the end of the Switch?
I was 15th
with a record of 7-2 or
6-2. Yeah, I lost to Justin Rios round 3, and then I lost to I don't remember his name round 4, and then I won out the rest of the.
And what did you play in round 4 again?
I played Broly, Red Frieza, Broly, and then like Shenron, then Broly, then Shenron, then Broly.
So what was the second thing you lost to?
I lost to 2 Broly decks. That's the only thing I lost to.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So it was a fun event. Yeah, there's not really much else to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by, Robert. If you somehow watched this after the fact to listen to if we actually did trash talk you, we didn't that much. So thanks for listening. And,
I did, Robert.
Okay.
You'll always be my Yamcha, Robert.
Yeah, definitely. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys next time.